Most important video series that you're going to watch today. It's going to save you time and money, so stick with me. All right, let's get into it. So welcome to video 2 of my meal prep series. In the first video, we covered why you would want to meal prep. So if you haven't watched that one, I'll have it linked in the description for you. So watch that one first and come back. In this video, we're going to cover just how much money you can save by implementing meal prepping into your life. You gotta eat, so you might as well be as smart as possible doing it. So, I've recently seen some TikToks claiming that eating out is cheaper than buying groceries, so let's take a look. And let's go to the next one. And the last one we'll look at.
Are y'all really saving any money from doing groceries? Especially, okay, as a single person household, I just don't know that grocery shopping is worth it anymore. Maybe for little things or little snacks or little meals, but cooking dinner, first of all, where are we finding the time? I feel like the hours are getting shorter and shorter, but that's a talk for another day. And second of all, I end up wasting the food, or it literally costs as much as if I just went and got takeout. So I'm trying to make it make sense. Literally out grocery shopping and I'm trying to talk myself through the prices. Like, yeah, like I'm making this work. This is cheaper than just going out to eat. And when I really crunch the numbers, I don't think that it is what's happening. Is it really cheaper to go grocery shopping for one individual person? I'm starting to doubt that. And if you want a steak or a seafood boil, yeah, it's gonna be cheaper to get that shit at home. But have you seen the price of chicken wings lately? The raw, naked chicken wing is the same if you just go.
So they all basically say the same thing, that it's cheaper to go out to eat than it is to buy groceries. And honestly, for the last girl, bless your heart, I'm here to help you. Don't worry. All right, so let's dispel that myth and break it down. Let's base it off of one person. And let's use the ever popular Chick-fil-A as an example. I don't really eat there much anymore, but I used to. And a meal that I used to like there was the chicken nugget meal with fries and a Coke. So that meal comes to $11.49 with $1.36 in estimated tax, and I'll throw it up on the screen here so you can see it. The total for that is $12.85 per meal. So, I work a regular 9 to 5 job. So, if I got that meal every single day for lunch, I would be spending $64.25 a week just on lunch. And if you add that all together, that's $771 per year. Editing Jesse here. I'm not sure what I was doing when I was doing the math or where 771 came from, but I've done the proper math for you right here. I don't know what happened. I was just really loud, confident, and wrong. So thanks, y'all. So that's a lot of money just on chicken nuggets, fries, and a Coke, right? So let's look at another option. Meal prepping something really simple would solve this. So let's say you meal prepped one easy and lower cost meal for the week, such as pasta with tomato sauce and beef with just pretty simple ingredients. You would spend 98 cents on a box of pasta that has 8 servings worth of pasta. So that's more than enough for a 5-day work week's worth of lunches. Woo, tongue twister there. You'd spend $7.47 on a pound of 93% lean, 7% fat ground beef. And there's even cheaper options than depending on the lean fat content that you want. And then you would spend $2.98 for a jar of Classico pasta sauce. And you could spend more or less on the sauce depending on how much work you want to do in terms of making things from scratch or making it really easy, what brand you buy, all of that. So altogether, that is $11.43 for the week for a really easy beginner level meal. I chose pasta, tomato sauce, and beef just because most folks are familiar with like spaghetti or some type of pasta to make that meal. So $11.43. And if you break that down by day, that is $2.29 per meal if you make 5 lunches with that. That's $2.29 for a meal that you made, or $15 for takeout, around $15 for takeout. So it's up to you, but to me, the choice is pretty clear. This is a way to protect your bank account for sure. So now that we've dispelled the myth of eating out costing more than grocery shopping, let's talk about how to meal prep to maximize your money saving superpowers. Okay, so I've got a few tips for you. So the first one is before you watch any YouTube recipe videos, before you use Pinterest, before you ask a friend for a recipe or follow a chef on social media, stop and think. First, write down the items that you regularly eat and like. You're definitely not going to eat anything that you don't like. So if you are diving into the world of recipes for meal prepping, the endless amounts of information that's out there, and you start to like make all of these grand plans for recipes that you don't like or won't realistically eat, you're not going to save any money that way. That food is just going to sit in your fridge and rot. So don't be adventurous when you're first starting out. Keep your list in mind of things you regularly eat and like. Keep that in mind when you're meal prepping. Also think about like what are the easiest things for you to make. I would suggest something like salads, easy meals like the pasta example that I gave earlier, things that you can make in one pot or pan, maybe things that you can throw in a crock pot or oven and kind of set it, forget it, and be done with it until it's done. Keep things simple. Secondly, before you make a grocery list, stop. Look in your cabinets, your fridge, and your freezer, your pantry, wherever you're keeping your food, and look at what items you already have that you can build a meal around. Think items like meats, staples like rice. What veggies do you have already in your fridge that you can use to make a side? Think about it in terms of what's going to be good for the length of time that you need the food to be good. So if you're meal prepping for the week, those items need to stay good for until the end of the week, if that makes sense. So, for example, if you already have a lot of ground turkey, you make a meal around ground turkey instead of going out and buying beef, pork, chicken, whatever other meat you would like. This also like noting what's in your pantry, your cabinets, all of that will stop you from buying duplicates of items that you can't use before they go bad. I have made that mistake one too many times where I've forgotten that I have carrots in the fridge and I buy more carrots. I've done this with seasonings, so now it's a rule for me that I have to look before before I make a grocery list. So when I started doing this, looking at like what things I already had to build meals around, I actually just about halved my grocery bills some weeks. Some weeks it was like I need to restock on meat and things like that, so it was a little more expensive, but I did save myself some money and some space in my pantry for sure. I would say like the big point of this tip is just to really focus on using what you have versus going out and buying new stuff. It'll save you money and save you from having food sitting in your fridge that's gonna go bad. The third tip I have is if the goal is to save money, stay away from one-use ingredients or more adventurous recipes that you don't know how they will turn out. So for the first point here about staying away from one-use ingredients, like things like, don't buy special seasonings or ingredients that you'll only use for one recipe, or you've just tried a new recipe that has an ingredient that you're not super familiar with. Um, that's a way to kind of have something sitting in your cabinet or your fridge or something for a really long time and you won't use it that often. So then it kind of ends up becoming a waste of money or just not the best use of your dollars. The second thing is to be wary of online recipes. So check comments, reviews, things like that to see if others have made the recipes and if they turn out well. I can tell you in my experience, I've gotten burned a couple of times with trying out new recipes online and they were absolute garbage. And I won't call out any creators by name, of course. But now I tend to look at are there comments? Did people say, yeah, I tried this thing and it was fantastic, that sort of thing, because it could save you some time and money and disappointment. So I think the biggest thing to remember about your meal prepping is that you do not have to be a Michelin star chef. And your food does not have to be the fanciest thing since sliced bread. It just has to get you through the day and keep in mind your dietary needs. It needs to keep you alive and get you through the day, basically. So, next I want to talk about, we've got some tips for making your grocery list and planning, but some extra ways that you can save money once you've made that list. So, you can use coupon apps to see if there are any coupons for the items that you need to buy. You can look at manufacturers' websites for coupons. You also can look at store ads to see if any items are on sale. And you also might want to build your meal prep plan around sales as well, depending on what's out there. And then also when you're in the store or if you're looking online, you can price compare generic items at the store with name brand. I am a big generic fan, generic item fan. I usually can find things for about $1 or $2 cheaper for the generic version. And every little bit adds up, so you can save yourself some money. So if you've made it this far in the video, like and subscribe to help my channel grow. Comment burrito on this video because I am going to give you a quick and easy meal prep burrito recipe next. Thanks, y'all. All right, let's get into this burrito recipe. We make it all the time at my house and it's super easy and super cheap. Okay, so first thing you need to do is get your ingredients together. So you need beans, cheese, tortillas, and your seasoning of choice. Everything in this video came out to $8.41 at Walmart minus the seasoning, and it makes 10 burritos. All right, the next step is to cook everything. So the burritos that we're making are pretty small. They're good for snack. But so you cook your beans for about 10 minutes. You want them basically to be soft so you can mush them. While you're cooking or before you're cooking, you need to prep a storage method of choice. I like to wrap the burritos in aluminum foil and then put them in a bag, a Ziploc baggie. Make sure you label it and what date you made the item. That helps you for storing everything. This is optional. You can mush your beans up. I like them kind of mushed up, so we do this for our burritos. But yeah, totally up to you if you do that. Once you've got your beans made and your tortillas made, you can assemble your burritos. So I like to do cheese on the bottom. If I'm putting salsa, I'll put salsa on the bottom, then cheese, and then scoop the beans on there. You don't need a ton. These are pretty small burritos. They're good for a snack, or if you are not like much of a breakfast person, you just need to grab something to put in your stomach. These are great. We also use them for like midnight snacks when you're really hungry. But you fold it up, wrap it in foil, put it in the bag, store it in the freezer, and then when you want to cook it, it's 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, so my final thoughts are, these are really quick and easy, simple things to make. I did not count the seasoning in the price just because we already had it. It's something we use all the time. But 84 cents per burrito is really really good and really cheap. And then also what I didn't mention is that pack of tortillas, I only made 10. It came in a pack of 18, and then there was a 1 pound block of cheese. I definitely did not use a pound. You could see how little cheese I was using in those burritos. So all of those ingredients that you spent $8.41 on can be used for other things. So it's a great like this is a great thing to add into your meal prep. There's also, it took us less than half an hour to do it. And now I also had help. I had my fiance helping me. But it took like less than half an hour to do. It's a pretty quick thing just to like make 10 of them, throw them in the freezer. And then you just have them for when you need them. It's really like little things like this that really kind of help you out during your week to help you not unravel, to help you keep everything together. So I definitely would look into small things that you can do like that. Maybe you have kids and maybe these could be like after school snacks. Maybe you have um, you just get hungry at 11 p.m. and you always go to a fast food restaurant and you shouldn't. This could stop you from doing that. So it's just like little things like this can help you make a really big difference in your routine or your life. But yeah, that's all. Thank you.